The Christmas season is in full swing. The tree has been cut and trimmed, and I've been adding decor throughout our home, and I am so excited to have you join me today as I share with you a tour of our country cottage Christmas home. Decorating our home for Christmas has been especially exciting for me this year. If you remember last year, we had just begun construction on our home, and I had only added very few things for Christmas. We were mostly removing things from the house and taking things down to get ready for new floors, paint, the works that you've seen me doing in the last year to our little lavender blue cottage. So I was so excited this year to make Christmas come alive in this home for the first time. I also found it especially fun because we created a home where each room almost has its own personality. And I could really lean into that for Christmas. I enjoy a lot of different styles of Christmas decor, specifically country and a little bit of cottage. And so because each room has a little bit of a different style and different colors, I was able to get really creative and just tackle each room almost as its own and bring in a unique style just for those spaces. But at the same time, I feel like because it's under this umbrella of a country cottage Christmas, it flows really well together and just feels so homey and festive, and we are really loving how it turned out. I started decorating the living room first, one, because that's where our tree was going, but I was also really excited to really lean into the country vibe. For me, this means some like muted reds and browns and creams, more like old-fashioned or old world style of Christmas decor, very naturalistic. I mean, this is something I always love doing, and if you see my past Christmas tours, you'll see likely the same decor and concepts, but it was fun to apply it here in this space in its own special way. As you saw earlier, we love to do the tradition of going to the mountains and cutting down our own Christmas tree, and I really have to giggle. Our tree is pretty funny this year. It's a little scrawny and very sporadic. There's like empty spots and then these long branches. It was gorgeous in the mountains when we found it, and then we realized because we have such low ceilings, we had to cut a lot of it off, and it just kind of left the more awkward parts of the tree. However, we love it. It is just a fun memory for us. I'm not going for picture perfect here with our Christmas tree. I just want it to have a lot of memories and joy for us as a family. I pulled out a lot of the ornaments that we had actually made, like more than a decade ago. I did a Christmas where I themed it a way back when Christmas, so it had kind of the same color vibe. So we pulled out some of those decorations and put them on the tree, and then I just used a lot of natural touches such as greenery. I like to sprinkle shelled nuts around things and centerpieces. This is of course the space where I love to put up our nativities. This wood one especially holds a lot of good memories. It's one that some relatives bought my grandmother in Jerusalem when they went there. And when my grandmother passed, this was the one thing that I got to inherit. And I just treasure it so much and love putting it out at the Christmas season. This cute cardboard nativity is one my daughter Kate actually made years and years ago. I just adore it and love pulling it out. I just saw her cutting cardboard boxes out and making this nativity, all prompted by herself. And it was just a very precious moment for me. So I've held on to that and love pulling it out for that memory as well. I filled the mantle with some faux cedar garland. I think it's really pretty and simple. I put in some cranberry picks, little painted pine cones that I've held on to for years, and then hung some of our linen stockings. I actually layered the quilted linen stocking that we used to make for my shop with the non-quilted, and I did like a white and a linen colored layer there together. I think it looks really cute. And then I found this muted red gingham ribbon and pretty much sprinkled it all throughout this room and the house. It really brings in that more primitive, country, old world style of Christmas that I'm after, so this ribbon was used in a lot of places. And you'll see a lot of the things in our Christmas home are handmade, like the dried oranges and the salt dough ornaments. If I have a tutorial on my blog, I will link it for you down below so you can check that out, learn how I made these things, and I will also leave links to any sources that you can go and buy, like the ribbon I found or the fabric that I found to make these pillow covers. I'll just make sure and link all that stuff in the description if you need more details, but today I just want to have you sit back and relax and enjoy this tour. Let's take you into the kitchen now to tour this space. Now, because the dining room is adjacent to the living room, I kept some of that more primitive colors going through it, namely the ribbon and just the greens, and transitioned that into the dining room. And then I went a little more bold with the reds once we turned the corner into the kitchen, which is really fun because I think these blue painted trimmed walls look really good with red. Blue and red is just a classic combo, I think, especially at Christmas time, and they feel really festive together. I love to pull out special Christmas dishes, like the everyday dishes that we use, and I put those on the open shelves where we just grab our daily dishes. But then I've been collecting other red and green dishes, and so I've hung those on the cabinets, put them on the hutch, and on the little shelf by the kitchen sink. It's just fun and easy to bring in some Christmas color through the dishware, especially if you're trying to bring in more of a festive look inside the kitchen. Beyond that, in the kitchen, it's really pretty simple with just some greenery tucked in spots here and there. Of course, a lot of red linen tea towels around the kitchen, and these little things don't get in my way and still make it feel really festive and beautiful in the kitchen. Let's take you into what we call our homeschool room and my office. It's a very multi-purpose space and it needs to have a lot of function. So I didn't want to add a ton of decor. However, when I got to this space, I really felt like I could make this more playful since it does feel like a fun room. It's not really like a cozy living room. It's a space where we learn, do crafts, puzzles, have fun together. So I decided to make it a little more playful. I tied some simple ribbon up on the light fixtures on this bookshelf. It just adds a little bit of a splash of color. On the piano, I actually displayed all these nutcrackers. Now they are actually yearly gifts that we give to my daughter, who is serving a mission for the next 18 months for our church. And so she's not here. And normally she displays these nutcrackers in her bedroom. And since she wasn't here, she was okay with us putting it here on the piano for us all to look at. And she wanted to make sure that we remembered her and thought about her. So that's really fun to have all of those displayed on here for us to look at. It definitely adds to the more playful vibe in this room. And then I put up a tree with these cute ornaments that I did one year. It's like the 12 Days of Christmas song. It has little figurines on them for the maids milking and drummers drumming and all that stuff. So these are some really cute ornaments that my kids just really, really love to look at. So we put that on the tree right here on the piano. For the centerpiece, I still needed to function for our homeschool for the month. So we just kept our pencils and scissors in here, but to make it a little more festive, inside this caddy, I added a poinsettia and some little sprigs of our Christmas tree that was left from the bottom of it. I placed a lot of those around our house. And then I actually decided to put a lot of card making supplies in this caddy. Hopefully my kids will feel encouraged to write some Christmas cards or create some Christmas cards. And then I'm also going to need them when I get our Christmas cards that we send out to friends and family. Homeschool room bleeds into the entryway, and I just added a few simple touches on the hooks. I added a little wreath that I picked up from Trader Joe's, tied on a bow, a flannel shirt that kind of brings in the same country cottage vibe right at the door front. I might have to wear this on occasion, but for now it looks really cute right here. On the furniture piece that we have in this entry, I hung a little Christmas garland thing and then tucked in some greens and sprigs and cranberries. Added a couple of candles and this darling little gingerbread wood house that I made when my girls and I were feeling crafty one day, and we went and got these wooden bird houses from Hobby Lobby and then painted them like gingerbread style. I have theirs downstairs because they're more cutesy, and you'll see those in a minute. I also strung some red and white bells onto a ribbon and hung those on the door. I always think it's fun to have bells ringing anytime the door opens and shuts during the Christmas season. So I put a big white bowl on this furniture piece because I wanted to fill it with the gifts that our guests would take, or if people come and drop off a gift, I can give them one real quick. But I'm hosting like 2 family Christmas parties. So I'm just gonna place these little tea towels with this plastic candy cane in them, and then my guests can take one as they're headed out the door. A simple little Christmas gift that hardly takes any effort at all. Our little front porch, and I just added a few simple things that I thought would transition well just into winter, so I wouldn't have to take a lot down after Christmas is over. But I hung a pretty green wreath. It's got lights on it so we can light it up at night. I put a blue and white throw blanket and a blue pillow on the little bench that's out here on the front porch. Again, just so it would transition really well all through the winter season. And just added a few more simple little touches to make this front porch dreamy. We still need to finish the flooring on this front porch. It just hasn't been a priority project, but hopefully when it warms up in the spring, we can get that done. most of my time and effort on the main level of the home, but I still wanted to add a Christmas tree down in the basement to create some cozy glow for when we want to watch some Christmas movies. So we put up our tree. It's a faux tree that I love to have for this space. And I dug out all of my blue and white and clear and glittery ornaments, and we hung them on this tree. It really creates this little magical glow and makes the basement a very cozy space. And here you can see my kids' little houses that we made into little gingerbread houses with just supplies that we grabbed from Hobby Lobby. It was a really fun project, and I highly recommend it over candy gingerbread houses because you get to enjoy them longer and not get sick from all the candy. I've been so happy that we've gotten a little bit of snow, but we are still anxiously awaiting more. We didn't get a whole lot last year, so we're hoping for some more, but I couldn't resist adding a couple of wreaths with ribbon on our gates and then tying some bows on some lamp posts. I think it just added a really fun touch as we pull into the house and see those little Christmas touches. Well, my friend, I hope you enjoyed coming along as I shared our country cottage Christmas home tour with you. I hope you felt inspired, maybe walked away with some new ideas for your own home. Regardless, I'm really thankful that you would join me today. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you do that. It would really help out my channel and my ability to reach more people. So thank you for doing that. And I think I have one more video for the holiday season to share with you. But if I don't have you back for that, thanks again for joining me, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas.